In the northwest, patchy rain here tending to fizzle out, and again, 1 or 2 showers are possible, most likely over parts of northeast England, but most dry. Temperatures a little higher, 20 Celsius widely, into the mid-20s across much of South Wales, the Midlands and southern England as well. Monday also set fair by and large, a little cooler in the east, and one thing, the winds will be picking up, especially along the south coast of England come Monday.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club. Oh my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of 2 wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Hello there and welcome to Mark Dolan tonight. As you can see, I am not Mark Dolan, so you've got me, Neil Fox. I'm holding the fort for the evening for you. So come on, grab a drink, get the kettle on, because we've got 2 hours of positivity for you. Now, you know Mark's rule, it still stands, of course. We don't do boring, and I stand by that. Now, in my big opinion, I'll be talking about the importance of fun, positive thinking, and some good news. In the big question also, with NASA preparing to finally go back to the moon, yay, on Monday, we'll be exploring if we still have the appetite to go into space. In the news agenda, we'll be discussing, is it ever too late to learn something? Some genius ways to save you money as well, and is music the key to top customer service? But first, the headlines with Tatiana Sanchez.
Thank you, Neil. It's 9 o'clock. I'm Tatiana Sanchez in the GB newsroom. Households struggling with the cost of living are now facing an 80% hike in their energy bills. Ofgem has announced the price cap will increase from just under £2,000 to over £3,500 in October. The government has acknowledged the rise will cause stress for many, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson says help is coming.
Pipeline of cash stretches out throughout the autumn. So there's going to be another £650 coming for every one of the 8 million most vulnerable households in October. In November, another £300 to help every pensioner, £150 extra for everybody who is entitled to disability benefits, on top of what we're doing with universal credit and the living wage, lifting both of those up.
Merseyside police have released aerial footage of the moment armed officers arrested a 36-year-old man on suspicion of the murder of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell. Merseyside police also say their investigations are continuing at pace. That's thanks to public information. Olivia was shot in her home on Monday night. Home Secretary Priti Patel says a package of measures will help both the community and the police. A man has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 23 years and 4 months for the murder of Lily Sullivan in Pembroke. Lewis Haynes was caught on CCTV with the teenager on the night she was killed, just before Christmas last year. The 31-year-old strangled Lily after she rebuffed his advances and left her body in a reservoir. The US Department of Justice has released court papers known as an affidavit that convinced a judge to authorize a search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The FBI search on the 8th of August was part of an investigation into the potential mishandling of documents by Trump. The affidavit includes evidence gathered by prosecutors and could reveal new details about the inquiry. Trump has previously denied any wrongdoing. Cardiff City Football Club have been ordered to pay over £5 million to French side Nantes for the transfer of Emiliano Sala, who died in a plane crash in 2019, 2 days after Cardiff had announced his signing. The Court of Arbitration for Sport ruled the deal was complete before his death, and so Cardiff must pay the first instalment of the transfer fee agreed for the Argentine striker. Salah had been travelling to Cardiff after signing for £15 million. TV online and DAB Plus radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Mark Dolan tonight.
Thank you very much indeed, Tatiana, and welcome to Mark Dolan tonight. I'm Neil Fox, and we have got a brilliant, entertaining show for you. The perfect way to start your weekend. Now, we've had enough doom and gloom and negativity for one evening. The news is heavy. So we're going for the great, the positive, and dare I say, fun news for the next few hours. In the big question, do we still care about space travel at all? And does it still inspire you? We'll be speaking to three leading men in the space game: leading astronomer Martin Reese, award-winning Apollo filmmaker Mark Stewart, and legendary astronomer and broadcaster Mark Thompson. And we want you to help us compile the first ever People's Playlist. This should be fun. So email or tweet us the song that you think best describes how you feel about going back to the moon. Now, it could be serious, it could be funny, could even be slightly crazy. Come on, it's Friday night. I will count down the top 10 a little bit later on. Now, back down to earth, and joining me in the studio all night, the top-class panel of model and broadcaster Leilana Dowding, TV personality and actress Ashleen Horgan-Wallace, and research fellow of the Bow Group, Benjamin Loughnane. Now, we'll be discussing, is it ever too late to try something new? Which celebrity would you want to crash your wedding? We'll also bring you some creative ways to save you money, as well, of course, having the papers bang on 10:30, and it's International Dog Day. So send in your pics with your pooches and we'll share some. Now, to kick things off, here is my dog. This is Bonzo. Yes, he is wearing headphones. He's about 10 years old, a rescue dog. We don't know what he is. He's just a cute little mix. We got him from Battersea Dogs Home and we love him. All that and more to come. But let's get cracking. So tonight, I want to try and keep it positive. I want to find the good stories, talk about the people who are doing good things to make our world a little bit better. And why? Well, I know a lot of people feel the same as me about this. There are some days when I literally have had enough and I can take no more. It just gets a little bit too much, right? We need a break from the relentless negativity and doom and gloom that we are fed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yes, of course, there are some dreadful news out there. We've just heard some. And there are some huge stories that are affecting our lives and other people around our world. But, come on, for a couple of hours on a Friday night, I thought it would be good to remind us all that good things are happening every day. Good people trying to do the right thing. Businesses doing well even. And potentially politicians being honest and making sensible decisions. So, let's drink out of the cup that's half full and not half empty. Cheers. OK, we've got a panel to help get me through the show tonight. Here's the all-star panel. Model and broadcaster Leilana Dowding. Hello there. TV personality and actress Ashleen Horgan-Wallace. And research fellow of the Bow Group, Benjamin Loughnane. Right then, after the break, as NASA start their next moon landing, we'll be talking a little bit late. Do we still care? But first up, let's talk to our panel. Good news, panel. Before the show, we said, are you into good news, or do you want the negativity? So let's start with you, Leilana. You're dressed beautifully tonight. You've got a happy smile. Today, you can be light-hearted on the show. I know you've been on the panel many times. What about good news? Is it important?
Do you know what? I think it's so important because the rest of it can just get you so down. And I've had so many rants and, I've managed to get things off my chest. But at the same time, you can't go through your life like that all the time, ranting and upset and with a big frown on your face. It's great to just smile, hear the good things going on in the world, and get some joy back because there's so many bad things happening right now. We need to hear the good things as well.
Sure. I mean, there are lots of. We know that there are people doing great things every single day, trying their best to make the world a happier place or just have a bit of fun, right? So, Ashleen, we need to hear that sometimes, don't we?
We absolutely need to hear it. Unfortunately, after being in the press for the past 16 years, good news doesn't really sell as many papers. So I could do a 100k run for charity, but if I fell out of a nightclub drunk, that would get the press. So I think as a nation, we kind of feed into the negative press. And I'm totally with you. We need more positivity, 100%. But actually, we're a little bit guilty of wanting the bad news and sort of we perpetuate it. We like it and it perpetuates and we sort of sit in it. And, we're voyeuristic people. We like watching soap operas that are true to life and everything's kind of negative. So I'm way more American. I'm all here for the peace, love and joy, man, and let's be so happy and everything's great. But we're British and it's what British do.
Well, you've got to mix it up, of course. And look, for, say, 22 hours of the day, maybe we can have the real news, and we know there's some heavy stuff out there. But for 2 hours, particularly as it's a Friday night and the weekend started, maybe, Benjamin, it's time to have a bit of fun. What do you think?
Yeah, another thing that I worry about is the fact that now politics is creeping into every other area. Things like sport, for example, are becoming politicised. Everything is a political message. And I think we need certain areas in life where we're not thinking about what's going on in politics or what's going on in the news or wars or whatever else is happening. A lot of these things I think you need to have a break from. And if you want to sit down and watch a game of football, I don't think that people should be kneeling down and doing all of this sort of political posturing because we need some kind of break from it. We're bombarded with it constantly, all the time. 24 hours a day, people are talking about politics, the world's going to end, everything's awful. And I think you just need to sit down and have a cup of tea sometimes and just take your mind off it.
Or just go to the pub.
We'll go to the pub. We'll do that after the show.
The subjects are usually doom and gloom and politics, so...
Well, I was going to say, if you think of our favourite soaps, everything in this country is based around a pub or some form of drinking watering hole, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. But when people go to the pub, yes, they talk about the stuff that's going on. But let's be honest, I think most of the time they want to go there and escape and have a bit of fun, let their hair down and just have a laugh, don't you think?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of people as well, you don't want to bury your head in the sand completely. You want to know what's going on. But also you need to, like Ben said, have that escape from it all when needs be.
I guess, like everything, it's a bit of a balance. And if you want a bit of good news to start the show off today, we are a nation of dog lovers, of course. Today is International Dog Day. Part of it was to bring awareness to not any dogs, but dogs that are in rescue homes that need rescuing and need a good home. OK, I have a Bonzo, my rescue dog, and we couldn't love him more. You guys all have dogs, don't you? Leilani, what have you got?
I've got two. They're both mixes. One was a rescue, one's a puggle. And they're 14 and a half, so they're old grey boys now, and I absolutely love them like kids.
Wow. Thing is, they keep you sane, don't they? Just, you know, rain or shine, they need that walk in the morning, the evening, and it just gets you out there. So for people that aren't or don't have dogs, I just couldn't recommend them more. And what about you, Aisleen? What have you got?
I have two Chihuahuas, and I took the one is 6 and one is 12, and I took the little 6-year-old to the vet, obviously, when I first got her, and the vet told me that she thought that my dog had come sort of through a hard life, a hard trip on a boat, and was perhaps smuggled into the country, and that I sort of effectively saved her from the situation that she was in. So she's sort of a rescue dog, but they're my babies, and like you say, they are literally my mental health pill every day. I get up and, you know, I've got to live for them. They need feeding, they need watering, they need walking, and, you know, you can be so depressed or sad about life, but they still need you. So you have to get up and you have to perform your daily chores, and it actually takes your mind off sad things. So, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, dogs are my saviour.
Do your dogs actually walk, Aisleen, or please don't put them in a little Louis Vuitton bag and lug them around anywhere?
They're not like that. Honestly, you meet my dog. My friends send their dogs to my house for dog training. So if they're being naughty and they're peeing or they're pooping all around the house, they've got no behaviour, they come to mine for a week of boot camp with me and they go back really well behaved. So my Chihuahuas are not like the ordinary Chihuahuas.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. Benjamin, you've got a big dog, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got an Alsatian. She's slightly mad. Her name's Maggie, but I call her Baroness Fetcher as a little nickname.
As a shortened down version of Maggie.
Version, yeah. She's lovely, but she's just completely mad. And there's nothing worse than when I'm trying to do some work and she's barking. Oh, God, it gets on my nerves. She's so loud, but I love her.
Typical woman.
Emailing in some lovely dog pics. Please keep them coming. Obviously, addresses we'll put up on screen, and we'll try and get them, as many of them, on screen as we can during the show. We love them. Keep your lovely pictures of your pooches coming in because they make us happy. Look at that. GB Views at gbnews.uk. Join the discussion. Send us your picture and let's get them on. Thank you very much indeed. Right, come on, up after the break as NASA start their next moon landing programme. I'm very excited about this. Do we still care about space travel, or is it a generational thing? Plus the 92-year-old man, yes, 92, who is passing his GCSEs. And, of course, we'll have the papers at 10:30 as well.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club. Oh, my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Right, Justin on Twitter sent in his beautiful star. You are sending in some lovely images in, so please keep them coming in. GB Views at gbnews.co.uk. Sorry, Nicky's dog is coming up first. Do apologise for the cock up at first show. Come on. Right, here's Nicky. Let's have a look at Nicky. Very cute. We like that's. Is that Nicky or Nicky's dog? That's Nicky's dog, which looks like a cockapoo. Very nice indeed. Nice little shepherd tie in the background as well. Thank you very much indeed. Right, let's have a look at Justin's dog now. Justin on Twitter. There we are. Very nice too. That is Star. We love pictures of your dogs. It's International Dog Day, so please keep them coming in. Got some emails coming in as well. Great to see you presenting on GB News. When I was a kid, I used to always listen to you on the Pepsi chart. Top 40. Dr. Fox. Sing the jingle. If people could time travel from the last 1,000 years to our day, they'd be amazed. Let's not become blind to all the good things we still have. I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, Andrew. And surprised to see you on GB News. You're at Kingston Grammar School with my son, Neil Wittig. God, hello there. I remember him so well. Not seen you lately, but there we are. Neil's okay, a lifetime of dramas. Thank you very much indeed. Gosh, it's like a sort of personal connection thing here. Keep them coming in. We like your emails. We like your tweets. We love the pictures of your dog because it is International Dog Day. We love it. Right, keep them coming in. Now, time for the big question in which we tackle a major news story of the day. Our big question tonight is literally out of this world. After 50 years, NASA is going back to the moon. On Monday, it's planning to launch Artemis 1. It's the first rocket in its latest program aimed at putting humans back on the lunar surface. The Orion spacecraft that'll actually go to the moon will be blasted out of Earth's gravity by the Space Launch System, which is NASA's most powerful rocket ever created. Now, the first launch will be a 42-day uncrewed flight around the moon, testing it for future astronauts, but there will be mannequins inside. Why? It's been 53 years, though, since the world watched in awe as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the surface of the moon. I was 8 and was mesmerised. This December, it'll be 50 years since Gene Cernan became the last man to walk on the moon before the Apollo program was scrapped because of funding issues. But do the public actually have any appetite for more space travel? Or some people might think it's a total waste of resources with all the problems that we have here on Earth. Might it not be better to concentrate on those? Well, let's have a chat with our panel, our all-star panel. So, model and broadcaster Leilani, what do you think about it? You're obviously far too young to have watched men walk on the moon back in the 60s and early 70s. What do you think? Is it exciting?
It is really exciting to me. I am so fascinated by space and the planets and all the stars. But people are going to hate me for this. I am a bit of a moon landing skeptic for the original one. So if this happens, I will be delighted. I really want to see it. You know, I look at the old footage and I think, oh, gosh, it looks a bit like that cartoon button moon. But, you know, if it happens and they land on the moon, I want to be there to watch it happen. And like I said, I absolutely am so fascinated with everything out of this world.
Leilani, so do you actually think that people didn't land on the moon in 1969?
It's hard. I just don't know if I believe it.
So these are all fake pictures we're showing. This is all a load of rubbish we're watching now,
do you know what? I remember as a kid watching The Big Breakfast with, I think it was Chris Evans, and I remember them showing, like, the camera they used and how it was so big and they had to press a button with these big gloves on and all this equipment. And I was quite young and I wasn't sure then, but I wouldn't bet my life that it did happen and I wouldn't bet my life that it didn't happen. So kind of sceptical.
Are all these then? Is this all just mock-ups from Hollywood then? Is that what you're saying?
No,
what we're watching now?
Do you know what? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. It could be. But if you look at the footage of them walking around, it does look a bit tin canny. It really does. It doesn't look like this really amazing, unbelievable technology. But, you know, I do hope that it does happen.
I suppose part of the problem, because those pictures, I know we're used to really lovely high-quality HD now, Larry, but it was 1969 and they were 250,000 miles away. I just thought I'd point that out to you. But anyway, Aisling, what do you think? Excited?
I think
believe it or think it was a load of rubbish?
No, I'm a believer. I also believe, though, that my ancestors are from outer space, so I'm so here for the travel to go and find my ancestors. I'm serious. You think her ideas are crazy, yeah?
Where were your ancestors from?
So basically, my blood group, there's part of my DNA that some doctors call it alien blood because it can't be traced to anything on Earth. So I'm really here for the idea that, you know, I'm from either a fallen angel, spacecraft, some kind of extraterrestrial. And I'm 100% here for it. The only thing is, on a serious note, it's a lot of money and we have massive world problems. And so that's the crux, isn't it? But I think if we're going to progress as a world, we do need to explore what's around us. And from the last trip, you know, that loads of things were created. For example, the camera phone, very important to me. That was designed by NASA for them to take pictures up there. There's a whole list of things. I did have them. They've escaped my mind now. So, yeah, of course, I think it's imperative that we move forward and discover and, you know, maybe make another place of residence and I can bump into my old relatives. Who knows?
I actually have heard about that blood group thing, and I have heard of that.
All
We're an alien.
Ladies, we'll return to this, particularly the fact that you are an alien. It's certainly a first, isn't it? Anyway, lovely to have you with us, Alien. Anyway, look, to discuss this as well as our panel, we've got leading stargazer Martin Reese, astronomer and broadcaster Mark Thompson, and the producer of the Last Man on the Moon, Mark Stewart, who worked closely with Gene Cernan whilst making it. So who better to talk to? Now, Mark, I will start with you because I know we've got a weird link to you this evening, but also you spent a lot of time with Gene Cernan, the Last Man on the Moon, a charming, lovely man. I met him actually at the premiere of your film as well. They definitely went to the moon. Let's just clear that one up for Leilani, right? They went. And how do you feel he would be thinking now? Because sadly, he passed away a few years ago. What would he and those other astronauts be thinking about NASA finally going back into space?
Well, he'd be very excited, for sure. And he'd be very curious to see how they did it. And he'd be a little annoyed that there are mannequins going on. But because, you know, he was one of the guys that went up there and was able to tell his story. For me, you know, he campaigned very hard to try and get astronauts back on the moon again. In 1972, when he ended when they ended the missions there, you know, he didn't think it would be this long before anything would ever go back there. So, of course, as mentioned earlier, money is a big issue. It's a massive cost. But we are a curious being. And, you know, Everest, we climbed the top of Everest and we keep doing it. And it's dangerous. And it's, you know, all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't do it. But as the human being is a very curious animal. And we will always try and stretch and find new places.
Because one thing that came out when I watched that film and talking to Gene as well was that he was slightly angry and annoyed with NASA, all the sort of sacrifices. And I mean, my God, they'd never have got off the ground now with all the health and safety checks they had. But they did. They were brave pioneers and off they went and people died along the way, but they kept on going. And then it all stopped. It was meant to be Apollo 20, but they stopped it 3 early, didn't they? Because of the sort of public not having an appetite. They thought it was too much money. Yeah, he was slightly angry, and so were the other guys as well, thinking, so what do we do it for? Was that certainly a feeling he still had in your conversations?
Very much so. I mean, he was irritated by it because he really didn't want to be the last man on the moon. He said, I don't want to be the last man on the moon. I want somebody else to be up there. He wanted a woman up on the moon. You know, he was very clear about that. And he said we've got a lot more to do up there. We haven't finished, So yeah, you see these images showing now of people walking on the moon, men walking on the moon. Like you said earlier, the technology to take those pictures and send them back were pretty ropey. I would be very curious to see what comes back from the moon. I would hope, however, Gene Cernan wrote the initials of his daughter, Tracy, on the moon, so I hope they land far enough away not to blow them away.
Well, look, let's chat to Martin Reese as well. What do you think, Martin? Are you excited? I mean, you must be thrilled, not excited, about going back into space.
Yes, well, I am, and I should say I met Harrison Schmitt, who was the other person who landed on Apollo 17, and I completely agree with what's been said. I think the point I would make, which you already made, was that NASA's become much more risk-averse. And these heroes of Apollo were taking high risks, but NASA's not prepared to take risks. To give an example, the space shuttle was launched 135 times, and there were 2 crashes, which killed the 7-member crew on each occasion, and they were each traumatic for the Americans. They stopped the program for 3 years. And that therefore means that the American public is not prepared for publicly funded civilians to accept the kind of risks which are getting necessary in these voyages. So my take, and I advertised my new book called The End of Astronauts, is that we should have programs of unmanned exploration using robots, which are much better, of course, than they were 50 years ago, and can not only do exploration, but they can build structures on the moon or in space. So we have them, but we should, for the reasons we all know, the wish for adventure, etc., we should have private ventures into space and with humans. And I say private because the billionaires can take higher risks than NASA can.
Well, you've seen, of course, SpaceX and Amazon going into space. I mean, I'm hoping, praying on Monday, and seen images now, that the NASA one doesn't look like the giant penis that obviously Amazon send up into space, the cock rocket, as they called it. I mean, it was slightly embarrassing shape, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Right, but well, rockets tend to be that shape, don't they? But I think, but I think private space flight, and of course SpaceX has rockets which are fully a match for the one that's going to go up on Monday. They can launch things more cheaply, but more cheaply mainly because they can launch the kind of people like the early Apollo astronauts, like Sir Ranulph Fiennes, like the people who go hang gliding and round the world ballooning and that sort of thing, who are prepared to accept the risks. And we should cheer them on, and the taxpayers don't pay. So my view is NASA and ESA should support rockets and the human, and robots, but the human flight should be left to the billionaires and sponsors who can launch people prepared to accept higher risks.
Let's bring Mark Thompson into this conversation if we could. So, Mark, welcome along to the show. Nice to have you on. How are you feeling about Monday?
Do you know what? I'm so excited. I missed being the young age that I am. I missed the moon landings, the Apollo era. So yeah, I'm very excited to see humans going back to the moon. And I'd echo what the other 2 guys are saying, that there's so much more that humans can do in space. Certainly robotic exploration is incredibly important. And since the Apollo missions back in the 60s and 70s, there have been hundreds of robotic missions that have gone out to all the planets now in the solar system. And with the development of artificial intelligence, with virtual reality, and all the other new technologies that have come along of late, robots are far more capable of exploring and doing the job of a human being. So absolutely, I think robotic exploration is far better where there's high levels of risk, but it's also very difficult to quash that human drive and desire to go into space. So I'm also very, very pleased to see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, look, back in 1969, I mean, it's the one single event that actually managed to unite the world, didn't it? As the world was literally gasping and in awe watching those two grainy little men jumping around on the moon in 1969. I mean, it blew us all away. Nowadays, the world is in turmoil at the moment. Do you think space exploration and sort of a mission like this, particularly when they send men back to the moon, will manage to have that uniting effect, that the world will once again look up? This time, of course, we'll be looking up in HD, so it'll look like a film. I think there was something rather lovely and romantic about those grainy images, because it made you feel like it was a long way away. When I saw the SpaceX mission and it was like watching a video game, it was kind of like, it felt slightly anticlimactic to me, even though I knew it was unbelievable. And I think, do you think it will have that same uniting effect? Will it blow us all away again, a new generation? Mark?
Do you know, I think it's really interesting. If you look back at the Apollo era, you know, that one of the real key drivers of the moon shot from NASA was about political power, and it was about one-upmanship on other countries, and it was very much a race between the Americans and the Russians to be the first country to put people on the moon. But thankfully, I think generally there's much more collaboration. You've only got to look at the International Space Station, which is lots of countries working together to put a permanent base up in space. So I think absolutely, I think by and large there's an awful lot more international cooperation. And I think as well, something that we get from human exploration in space is inspiration. And the Apollo missions inspired thousands, millions of kids and grown-ups also to look to the skies and to wonder at the universe, and also get interested in science. And we've seen how important science is. So anything that's going to inspire future generations of scientists, you know, in my book, is a good thing.
I mean, many years ago, I do remember having a bizarre afternoon tea at Buckingham Palace, of all places, with Buzz Aldrin, just thinking, you know, two great names there. No, but I mean, and what was lovely, I said, oh my God, you're Buzz Aldrin. Is there any chance we can have a chat? And he said, of course we can. And we sat for 45 minutes and talked about anything. I was just like a moon junkie, just lapping it all up. But what was so nice about him and the other 11 astronauts that walked on the moon was they were all so excited to talk about it, because they knew that they were human beings that had been where no other man had been before. And we were all excited about it. And I'm sort of hoping, and I presume you guys are all the same, that when we have these next set of moonwalkers and then Mars walkers one day, that they will be equally inspirational for a new generation of kids growing up.
Yeah, I think there will be. You know, I think it's very exciting to you know, we need good news. We need something exciting at the moment, I think. And, you know, and I think we are, like I said, a curious race, and we will be interested in watching whoever does go up at some point again. You know, I watch the ISS channel, so I'm probably not the right person to talk to. I like watching all that stuff, but on the other hand, I think it's, you know, what can we find out there? What can we educate people with, and how can we inspire a future explorer, if you like? So I think there's lots of good.
How important is it scientifically, Mark, Reese, do you think, to what they're going to find out there? What haven't we discovered yet about the moon? I guess we know very little about the moon, really. We've only been there, 6 times. What do you think we need to find?
Geology, I think for scientists, the most important thing would be to use the moon as a base to put telescopes there, especially on the far side, where they're away from the interference caused by the Earth's radio emissions. So there's lots of science, but that doesn't require people to go there or to build them. And I think, to go back to the earlier point, we've got to remember how hugely expensive these projects are. The Apollo program was funded with up to 4% of the American federal budget, funded not for scientific reasons, but, as has been said, to beat the Russians. And so it's really the matter of cost. And I think we should use public money to use robotic probes to go to these places, and to go to Mars, which is an 8-month trip for human beings, very expensive, and even more to bring them back. So we should encourage the private funders to send the people into space, accepting high risks. And we'll cheer them on, and they'll give the inspiration. But I think the public projects which have to be risk averse and therefore more expensive, should be limited to being robotic ones.
OK. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, right now, as we speak, there is that incredible lunar rover going all around, and a drone even on Mars, taking the most incredible pictures and videos. In fact, I don't know about you, but when I look at them, it's hard to believe it's Mars, because it sort of looks a bit like Earth, and the pictures are so good. It's like, you know, I'm watching a Steven Spielberg film. Is there a danger that we've got so used now to incredible movies, incredible CGI, incredible video games, that it sort of doesn't have that wow factor anymore? Not that, I mean, we know we would have a wow factor because we're all complete space junkies. But for the average man and woman in the street, is that maybe one of the problems now, that we've kind of got used to it, and a whole generation of kids have grown up knowing, oh, yeah, we did space. That happened a long time ago, didn't it? That was 50 years ago.
I think that's a problem, because I think they will watch these robots, and the next robots will have enough AI to do the geology and decide where the right place to dig is and all that. So the science can be done by the robots. And, of course, the humans, when they go, they'll attract public interest, we'll admire them. And, of course, what will attract the greatest interest will be the crises, because if you think of the space station, where hundreds of people have gone up, that's got no public interest unless Chris Hadfield played David Bowie songs, etc., or the loo failed or something like that. That became routine. And I think this would happen to lunar missions in the same way. So I don't think it'll be possible to repeat the amazing inspiration which Apollo was. And of course, Apollo was only 12 years after the first Sputnik. And certainly I'm old enough to remember the Apollo programs. And I remember thinking then, we'd only have to wait another 10 or 20 years before there were footprints on Mars. But of course, 50 years later, we haven't even been back to the moon. And I think it's because it is so hugely expensive, and there's not the superpower rivalry which justified the expense of the Apollo project.
I mean, in that last century, let's be honest, in 1903, man flew for the first time with Orville and Wilbur Wright. 66 years later, they were walking on the moon. I mean, that is some unbelievable progress. I wonder, and of course, a lot of that was war and the superpower going at it, and who would be the race for the moon. You know, what is there now that sort of drives people? I presume it must be science. Potentially, there might be profit. That's why some of the billionaires would do it, not just for discovery. There may be things out there that we as a planet need, maybe. Since the moon, I mean, we've talked about the moon, but since then we have the space station. We did, obviously, Space Lab, but we have put some incredible telescopes up into space, like the Hubble telescope, that have given us the most unbelievable images. We've had satellites going all around our solar system, just our solar system, our tiny solar system, compared to the vastness of space. I mean, what they have brought back is rich in science, but I suppose nothing can quite... There's something about seeing men walk on the moon. It was the very human factor, wasn't it? That it was bloody dangerous, and some of their colleagues died, you know, trying to get there. What kind of people will we have in the future? Because people like Neil Armstrong, Buzz and Gene Cernan and all these guys, they really had the right stuff. There was that great film, and it was very American. It was very sort of gung-ho. Are we going to have the same kind of characters now that are going to go up to the moon and then eventually go to Mars? Or will it be a different type of, you know, political animal, do you think, that'll be getting aboard these spaceships?
I think, I'd quite like to answer that, because I think it's really interesting. I mean, I've been very lucky to meet Tim Peake and Chris Hadfield, both of which are amazingly inspirational people. And what struck me about both of them is that they were just perfect human beings. You know, they were really nice people. They were clearly very brave people. They were clearly very intelligent people. And the whole astronaut selection process, which government organisations, NASA, European Space Agency and whatnot, they go through a huge amount of effort to make sure they pick people who are made of the right stuff. And that's not necessarily about being able to fly a spaceship. It's actually about being able to psychologically be stable enough to endure the psychological challenges of space flight. And also, you know, if you're going to be stuck inside a fairly small capsule with someone for 6 months at a time, actually you've got to be a fairly likable person. And I think I worry a little bit that the exploration of space going down the privatisation route could lead to just anyone who can afford it buying a ticket to go off into space, and then all of a sudden you lose that very careful screening to make sure you get the right people going into space. I think it's going to be very interesting challenges physically and emotionally for people as we do find that space becomes, which it will inevitably, more of a mundane thing for most people. That's a lot of years in the future.
If I can bring Mark Stewart back in here, just because your company made a film called Armstrong, about Neil Armstrong, and a remarkable man. I mean, the coolest head in the world, an amazing test pilot, and I mean, it was an incredible film as well. If people don't, they just know his name, but watch the film because it will blow you away. But he was a very quiet, down-to-earth guy, but my God, he was made of the right stuff, wasn't he?
Oh, he certainly was. And, funnily enough, the last man on the moon, Gene Cernan, absolutely loved him, and they got on very well. They were great friends. And the two of them both campaigned very strongly to try and make sure we were going back to the moon and beyond. He was a very reserved man. In fact, we made a film about him, and there's not many spoken words from him. So we had a lot of letters he wrote to his family, things he wrote down, all his notes, etc. And we were given this by the Armstrong family very kindly to look through. And we decided the way we would make the film was to get Harrison Ford to be his voice throughout the film, because the guy was very shy, very intelligent, scientist kind of character, lecturer in a university, but was not going to be a media clown, if you like, as much. He didn't enjoy the public, being the public eye. So these types of heroes, are we going to get any more of them? I don't know. It's difficult to say. That was an era, a very special era. We should remember it very fondly. Should we be going back up? I think we should. I mean, robots are all very well, but I think we can't. You can't make a song with robots. We're about more than that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as human beings, there was something. I know there's a robot going around Mars now, but if there was a man there, I'd be glued to it. Although it was amazing, even back then in that incredible, glorious era you mentioned, in 1969, that man walked on the moon. That was Apollo 11. By Apollo 13, people weren't even bothering to watch the the en route film on the way to the moon. The only, it's like the panel said earlier on, it was only when they had an explosion on board that suddenly people went, oh, is it dangerous? and then the world was glued as this incredible event unfolded, and somehow they managed to all get home incredibly, which in itself was that genius of mankind and humanity working together as a team, trying to somehow bring these three guys home, and it made it a very real human story. I suppose with modern technology, we think that everything is so easy. We see these, but of course it's really dangerous. Space is a hostile environment, not that I know, but I keep reading about. And I was just sort of wondering whether, Martin, Reese, space is a dangerous place to be. What we think it's quite routine now because these spaceships have gone up and back. It's dangerous out there, isn't it?
It's dangerous, and the short trips to the space station and even to the moon aren't that bad. But if you think of Mars, then it's, as you said, it's 6 months to go there. And there's radiation damage. You've got to have food for 6 months. And I think certainly the first people who go to Mars will go with one-way tickets, because to bring them back is 10 times as expensive as a one-way ticket, because you've got to take, in advance of their arrival on Mars, all the stuff and the rocket for the return trip. And so the first people to go to Mars will be with a one-way ticket, and there'll be many who want to go. But I don't think the American public or the European public would fund people who were going to die on Mars. I think they would not like that idea, although they will cheer them on. And that's why I think that these kinds of explorations, the real big adventures, should be left to the private sector, because they can happily take the people who are prepared to accept the risk of a one-way ticket. I think that will happen. But I agree with what's been said about the Apollo astronauts. I met Neil Armstrong twice, and a very different guy from Buzz Aldrin in personality, but a great guy.
Well, Martin, Reese, lovely to have you on the show, and thank you so much for your thoughts. Mark Thompson as well, and also Mark Stewart. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. A fascinating discussion. Oh, my God, I could have sat here with a beer or a cup of tea and done another 2 hours of that, but we must move on. Thank you very much indeed. Lovely. Now, something rather different, keeping it back on Earth. Remember, it is International Dog Day, so keep pictures of your pooches coming in. We love all that, please. Thank you very much. Coming up after the break, though, more dog pics. Keep them coming in, and we'll also talk about the 92-year-old man acing his GCSEs, plus the People's Playlist. Oh, yes, we need your suggestions, please, for the best song that could somehow accompany a moon mission. Do you believe it? Do you not? Do you want a funny song, a clever song, or something weird and wonderful? Let's put together the People's Playlist, your space songs. Thank you. And, of course, we'll look at the papers. All coming up.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch.
You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh, my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Welcome back. Gosh, a space anorex dream, this one. I'll be talking to our panel in just a minute, including our alien that's joined us tonight on the sofa, which is Ashleen. Yeah, no, seriously, I know you might think I've got a bit nuts, but no, it's not me. She claims she is an alien, but we'll chat more about that in just a moment. Don't dismiss it, thank you. Got a few emails here. Don't care about space, don't care about the so-called benefits. Governments need to look after the people, not the dreamers. Private investment can bring out the dreamers. You shouldn't dismiss moon landing sceptics, as no one has ever explained convincingly how the astronauts survived the radiation out in space, going there and coming back. Spacesuits, I think. Anyway, yeah, they weren't doing it in their underpants, but there you go. No, I understand. Thank you. Hey, my mum woke me at midnight so I could go downstairs and watch the moon landing of Apollo 11 on my own. I was 8. Me too. Why the rush to go to other planets? Because we've about buggered this one up. Is it time to move and bugger that one up as well, says Steve? Well, there's a thought for your Friday night. You showed a clip of the 1969 moon landing when the American flag was being raised, and it was clearly flapping in the wind. Hello? There's no wind on the moon. Your presenter, me, is speaking rubbish, according to Derek. Well, I have to say, Derek, look, I've spoken to 3 of the people that wandered on the moon. Either they're the greatest actors and bluffers of all time, or maybe somehow they did, and there's another explanation. Anyway, please keep your emails, tweets coming in. It's International Dog Day, so we are asking for pictures of your pooch as we keep it all nice and positive this Friday night. David sent in the troublesome trio, Cooper, Archie and Frank. Oh, sorry, Jules is the first one. Sorry, this is Jules. Hello, Jules. How cute. Look, oh no, OK. There's severe fluffiness going on there. We like that. Cute factor, about 9.5. Right, David sent in troublesome trio, Cooper, Archie and Frank. Oh, my God. They look a menacing little bunch, don't they? Lovely, but cute. We love them. And do they all share that little bed, which is good. This is BB having fun in the paddling pool. Thanks to Katie for sharing BB with all of us. Probably taken in the hot weather recently. BB looks a very happy little dog. Here are Christine's poodles. Honjai and Suki. Looks like they're waiting for dinner or treats. Yes. And this is Sally, the dog, sent in by her owner, Katie. Sally looks lovely. Oh, we like International Dog Day. Thank you. Right. Freddie the Cockapoo, I've got here, really. Do you know, I read that as Freddie the Cockatoo, thinking, why have we got birds on the show? No, sorry, it's Freddie the Cockapoo. And also Joanne's dog. Hello, Joanne's dog. What's your dog called? Yeah. Oh, there are two dogs there.
Two of them.
OK, nice. Well, hello. They both look pretty cute. Oh, and one, which is lovely, that's the last one. OK. Thank you very much. This week, a 92-year-old man became the oldest person ever to pass a GCSE exam. Good old Derek Skipper, a grandfather of 3 from Orwell in Cambridgeshire. He passed his maths exam with flying colours after taking evening classes at his local college. Now, the last time, this is an amazing stat, the last time Derek took school exams was during World War II. But Derek was inspired to give learning another go to keep his mind occupied. So, does this prove that it's never too late to try something?
Of course.
Right, come on, panel. Look at that. Ashleen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm the queen of reinventing myself, and I'm, 43, and people say, oh, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. Like, hell no, I've just learned how to be I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Cosmetic procedures, I can do those now, but, obviously not under anaesthetic.
Yeah.
So I can do lips and Botox and cheek fillers, etc. And everyone else that was learning the same time as me was like half my age. But there was no way that I was going to be like bullied into thinking, oh no, I'm too old. I think this guy is brilliant. And I think it's so important as you get older to keep your mind active. My granddad, as soon as he finished work, he sort of, you could see the decline. So we found him things to do. And I think, that reinvigorated him, and it got his boost for life going again. And I think to work your brain is just brilliant. This guy is my hero.
No, it's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because what's interesting, I mean, I've noticed more and more adverts recently for like Open University on the TV, and they're not just aimed at clearly, kids or people just doing their A-levels. It's about, hey, maybe you've stopped work for a bit, or you're a mum and you've had kids and you want to go back and learn something. I mean, because we're slightly programmed in this country, aren't we, that, right, you do your GCSEs, then you do A-levels, you make 50%, then go off to university, and then you kind of stop. Most people stop then and never really encouraged to go back and learn again.
It's so invigorating learning something new. Like, I'm talking about myself and what I've just learned, and to think to yourself, oh my God, I can actually do this. It wasn't just in my teens that I was able to learn. We're actually able to learn throughout our whole lives. So why stop?
Well, I got my fiance's guitar out his cupboard. He went off on tour. He's a musician. He's a guitar player. And I YouTubed all these videos, and I was horrific. I was absolutely awful, and he makes it look so simple. So it's probably not a good person to compare myself with. But I've just moved to a small holding, and I've been learning how to garden and do all of that, and grow some food. And so, it's
a great
stimulating,
feeling, isn't it?
I'm at home a lot, and with my animals. So it's like I wanted to just get out and, learn something new. So, growing veggies.
Never too old, eh?
No.
This guy.
No, I think, was it Isaac Newton's last words were, I'm still learning, And if even he gets to the end of his life and he says, I haven't learned enough, I mean, there's no age limit on learning. There's no age limit on when you finish and you're a complete person. You've always got something else to read or learn or do, and I think it's great. He's 92.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably not going to do much of a maths GCSE. I doubt he's going to go off to do his A-levels now or use it to get a job, but there's no problem with doing it. I think it's a very good thing.
Well, the nice thing is Derek will be on Neil Oliver's show tomorrow night on GBNews. So we'll see him and we'll tell you. I mean, he looks brilliant for 92. I've got to be
I was
honest.
going to say that. He looks great. I want Derek's autograph. I'm not going to lie.
You know what's really weird? My daughter my youngest daughter is 16, so she got her GCSE results like most kids on Thursday, and it's a slightly soulless experience now because I said, I got it as a stamped address envelope getting sent to my house. Others going to school with your friends. I don't know how Derek got his, but my daughter, there's an app now you get, and literally at 8:15 you tap the app, you put your number in, and suddenly it gives you all your results.
Which, so robotic.
You sort of do it on your own. You want to be there with your friends, that moment to share, either to commiserate. But we all know that, that hopefully exams shouldn't define who you are. If you didn't have the greatest day on Thursday and you're 16 years of age, it's not going to have ruined your life, although at the time you think it probably has, clearly. But we all know there's more to life than exams. Should the exams change, by the way? People are talking now. There was a debate on GB News earlier. Is it time for something new than just having stuff that you sort of learn and regurgitate?
I think it depends on what you want to go into as far as work's concerned. I think there's an importance of having exams, but I was one of those people, I didn't really have to study hard because I had a good short-term memory, so I would just fall asleep in classes and then cram everything right at the end and just be able to regurgitate it. So that was easy for me.
It felt like regurgitation for me, to be honest, when I was doing my exams. It felt just like that.
But honestly, it's like people have other skills and skill sets, and I think it's important to explore those, not just the learn and repeat, which is what exams kind of do. And there's a lot of people that can't remember things under pressure. And that's a good thing about learning when you're older or doing something for fun when you're older. There's not the pressure there that, when you're 16 and you're under that pressure and it's one day or, for per exam, and it's just, everything depends on that moment in time. And I think, as you're older and you're doing an exam for fun, like this 92-year-old guy, it doesn't matter. It is just for fun. And
I wonder whether he thought it was for fun or when he goes, oh, no, I'm packing it today. I've got my maths GCSE.
Yeah. He's so cute because he didn't realise that he would be the oldest one that's ever done the course. He's 92. He thought maybe there was someone older. That's so adorable.
92. Anyway, if you want to know more, he's on with Neil Oliver tomorrow. Now, please, don't go anywhere. Lots more to come. We'll reveal my people's playlist. We'll hear the McDonald's man busking his way through life. And, of course, we'll go through the papers as the headlines come in at 10:30.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch.
You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Good evening, it's 10 o'clock. Welcome to Mark Dolan tonight. Good evening. Fabulous to have your company this evening. I'm not Mark Dolan, no, or unless he's suddenly gone grey. No, I'm Neil Fox until 11 o'clock, looking after things for Mark Dolan while he's away. Now, coming up in the news agenda with my fabulous Let's Keep It Nice and Positive panel, which celebrity would you want to crash your wedding? Is it ever too late to try something new? And what are innovative ways to save money? In the Great British Game Show, get ready for liftoff as I test your space knowledge. But first, the headlines with Tatiana Sanchez.
Thank you, Neil. It's 1 minute past 10. I'm Tatiana Sanchez in the GB newsroom. Some breaking news in the last half an hour. A second man has been arrested on suspicion of the murder of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell. The 33-year-old has been detained by police. Well, earlier today, Merseyside police released aerial footage of the moment armed officers arrested a 36-year-old man on suspicion of her death. She was shot in her home on Monday night. A man has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 23 years and 4 months for the murder of Lily Sullivan in Pembroke. Lewis Hames was caught on CCTV with the teenager on the night she was killed just before Christmas last year. The 31-year-old strangled Lily after she rebuffed his advances and left her body in a reservoir. Households struggling with the cost of living are now facing an 80% hike in their energy bills. Ofgem has announced the price cap will increase from just under £2,000 to over £3,500 in October. The government has acknowledged the rise will cause stress for many, but Prime Minister Boris Johnson says help is coming.
Pipeline of cash stretches out throughout the autumn. So there's going to be another £650 coming for every one of the 8 million most vulnerable households in October. In November, another £300 to help every pensioner, £150 extra for everybody who is entitled to disability benefits, on top of what we're doing with universal credit and the living wage, lifting both of those up.
The US Department of Justice has released court papers known as an affidavit that convinced a judge to authorize a search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The FBI search in Florida on August the 8th was part of an investigation into the potential mishandling of documents by Trump. The affidavit includes evidence gathered by prosecutors and could reveal new details about the inquiry. Trump has previously denied any wrongdoing. Cardiff City Football Club have been ordered to pay over £5 million to French side Nantes for the transfer of Emiliano Sala, who died in a plane crash in 2019, 2 days after Cardiff had announced his signing. The Court of Arbitration for Sport ruled the deal was complete before his death, and so Cardiff must pay the first instalment of the transfer fee for the Argentine. Salah had been travelling to Cardiff after signing for £15 million. TV, online and DAB Plus radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Mark Dolan tonight.
Hey, welcome back to Mark Dolan tonight with me, Neil Fox. Well, we are trying something radical. 2 hours of positive, uplifting news stories. I know, the world's gone mad. Right, at 10:30 tonight, myself and my joyous panel will be taking you through the front pages together, and we'll be discussing whether music is the key to top customer service. And also we'll chat about creative ways to save money. By goodness, having listened to that news, we need to. Then in the Great British Game Show, we have a space-themed quiz prepared for you that literally is out of this world. Right, earlier we asked you what songs best describe NASA's planned return to the moon, which blasts off on Monday. And here is the very first People's Playlist. The People's Choice, probably no surprise here, Space Oddity by David Bowie. Eurovision favourite Spaceman by Sam Ryder came in second. A very good choice. What a great song. Old school classic Walking on the Moon by The Police came in third place. In fourth, the Sinatra special, I Won't Sing. Fly Me to the Moon. Coldplay favourite, A Sky Full of Stars. Oh, they're on tour, and how brilliant when they do this one live. They're number 5. In 6th, a 70s classic, Rocket Man by Elton John. Man on the Moon by American rockers R.E.M. came 7th. And Up, Up and Away by Jimmy Webb is our final song on the playlist. Actually, I'm just looking at an email here. For your playlist for the moon, how about Leica by British band Boston Manor? Haven't heard of them, but I'll always try anything. Great tune, great British band. That'll get them going. Leica, of course, was the first dog in space. Perfect for International Dog Day. Thank you very much indeed, Mike. Appreciate it. Let There Be Rock by AC/DC. That'll do it. Believe me, it will. What else have we got here? That's Steve. And thank you, Alison, for saying nice things. Right, we like the positive attitude. We just thought, look, we're not ignoring the crazy news that's out there at the moment. We know that's what happens. But for 2 hours, particularly on a Friday, to start your weekend, we thought we'd just have some lightness and a little bit of positivity, because there's lots of it out there, but we never get to hear it. Right, let's go over to my panel now for choices. Hello, panel. How are you? So we're talking music. What do you think? Model and broadcaster Leilani Dowding, TV personality and actress Aisling Horgan-Wallace, the alien. We'll come back to that. And research fellow of the Bow Group, Benjamin Loughnane. Ladies and gent, nice to have you on tonight, keeping it nice and positive. Thoughts then about music?
I don't know. I mean, you know, all the good ones have been taken already, I think. I'd go Man on the Moon by R.E.M. I think that's the one that popped into my head first.
That would be your perfect one, OK. Aisling, I'm sure you've got something to say about this. There must be one in there about aliens, because you should just recap. And why am I calling you an alien, by the way? It's not because of the very bright teeth that you have that are glaring at me, OK? It's not. OK, so just explain again why you believe you are an alien.
So I'm a rare blood group. It's the rarest on Earth. And there's part of the DNA in my blood that cannot be traced to anything on the Earth, whereas mere mortals, probably like yourself and my two guests, your two guests. See, I'm referring to myself as like they're my guests, because obviously I'm from out of this world. So, yeah, there's part of the DNA that can't be traced to Earth, and everyone else's blood it can be. And so some doctors like to refer to it as alien blood, and I take that quite literally. And if you look at ancient Egyptian, you know, when they write on the wall, hieroglyphics and stuff like that, a lot of religious books and stuff, they talk about either fallen angels or space-like creatures coming from out of space and mating with the women. And I believe that I am a descendant of this.
I don't know why I'm laughing, because I've read the same stuff as Aisling, so I shouldn't be laughing. I actually kind of...
I'm really comfortable with it. I'm really happy that I'm different to everyone else. It's cool with me.
I guess I shouldn't laugh. I'm laughing because I guess I've never heard anyone say that before. OK, no, I genuinely
Because
haven't.
really, we're not supposed to. We're supposed to keep it really secret and quiet, but here I am, spilling the beans.
It is... Look, I completely believe that there have been people from other planets visit us before, so
you
that
do believe
is not
that?
strange to me. So I suppose maybe it's not the weirdest thing that there's one sitting on my panel, although I'd have to say Benjamin and Leilani and myself, have we ever just been called mere mortals before? Anyway.
It's the first for me.
Thank you very much.
It's a humbling experience, to be honest.
We've just actually, if any of you Oasis fans, because a brilliant suggestion just coming in, emails, keep them all coming in for the People's Playlist. Champagne Supernova by the mighty Oasis. What a wonderful song that is, of course. So, yeah, keep the list coming in. We'll add them. What'll be... Now, you could take them... You could have, like, Why by Annie Lennox, of course, because you think, why are we going to space? Who knows? It doesn't all have to be super positive. Just let your mind wander. Keep it a bit left field. One thing that... Benjamin, I know this is probably a discussion like no other discussion you've had on GB News before, but the lady sitting next to you, do you believe that actually she could be of alien descendancy?
No. I don't think so. I'm really sorry, but
it's fine.
I mean, I think. Look, I've got some pretty out there opinions and beliefs. You know, I'm fairly open-minded, but I have to say I'm being put to shame today by you. You think you're an alien, and Also,
No,
the moon landing didn't happen. I'm feeling way out of my depth here. So, but maybe I could be convinced. You know, we'll have to have a further conversation about this.
It's fine. I don't need to convince you.
It doesn't matter. Well, because I'm just a mere mortal, so my opinion doesn't matter.
Well, let's leave it there for the moment. Okay? Talking of weird and wonderful, here's another great light-hearted story for you Friday night. A McDonald's worker has taken the internet by storm by busking while serving customers. Richard Walker's been wowing customers in London and calls himself Liverpool Street Mickey D's pro noisemaker, or alternatively the Muck MC. So let's have a quick look at the video of him now.
Hey there, Delilah, here's to you. This one's for you. Literally for you.
He seems charming. I mean, maybe the next song, can I suggest Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac? OK, I'm sorry. Right, panel, come on. Is this the way forward? Clearly, he's making his customers happy. Do we need more of this? Happy people serving people, maybe in call centres. Imagine they sang down the phone at you. Or, you know, when you're waiting on to have a chat with the tax office, maybe they could sing rather than that awful hold music they put you on, which drives you frigging insane. So what do you think?
I think absolutely. I think, you know, like I said before, I'm all here for the American vibes, which is, how are you? Happy face. I hope you have a nice day. That kind of energy. I'm totally here for it.
I can't agree.
Typical English. Okay.
I don't like the American thing.
No, I want miserable.
When I go into a shop and someone comes over and says, hey, can I help? Just let me look around. If I need help, I'll come over and ask. And I really hate that over the top, in your face thing. I don't mind the music if it's what the punters like. And look, there's a restaurant near me, Turkish restaurant. You go on a Saturday night, they've got a belly dance and everything. It's great fun. It's hilarious. You know, it's just it's a bit mad, but I think there is a line. You know, the overbearing service can get on your nerves.
But that guy had a nice voice. I think he cheered up the customers. It's brilliant. And I think music's really important, and a happy song as well. You know, it's not like he's shouting out some rap, cussing people out, and
I'd like that.
Yeah, so I just think it's nice. I think music's really important, and like, you know, it can really uplift you, and I think, well, same with like any sound and noise and words. I think, you know, it can change your mood. So,
well, they say, you know, you speak into existence, so you have to talk positively. They did an experiment with 2 different waters. I'm going to get ridiculed for this now. So they had water in one room and water in another room, and then the same man went and spoke very angrily at one tub of water. This guy thinks I'm crazy, but it's true. It's a fact.
Japanese guy in motos.
Yes, and he would speak very angrily to one water over a long period of time, and then very kindly and sweetly to the other water. And when put under a microscope, the angry water had angry crystals. There you go. There. Yeah, I'll let Leilani finish because I don't really know the end of it, but it's proven.
Now, I have heard...
Speak positively and positive outcomes, and you speak nicely to plants, for example, they grow more.
I feel like I'm in a weird dream.
Hello,
alien blood and angry water.
Benjamin, I know it's slightly odd, isn't it? No, but actually I have heard similar stories and similar experiments have been done under scientific conditions about, you know, yes, talking kindly. Certainly we know it sort of does work with plants. Who knows whether it's to do with sound waves and gentle sound waves? I don't actually know. But maybe if you're watching and you've got some info on it, you can just let us know, please, while some of the madness is going on your Friday night on GB News. Just let us know. Normal email, text, Twitter, whatever. Just please get in contact. It's lovely. Leilani, I mean, look, there's a fine line. I know what Benjamin means sometimes. When you go to America and it's like, have a nice day, everything's great. Yeah. It's like, oh, my God, please shut up. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. It's just too much for me. But there is a middle ground. I think we're getting better. We're getting better in this country at being better service. I think probably with everything going, or so much shopping going online, shops have probably learnt that they need to be nicer to make people go in there. It needs to be a better experience. Certainly music in shops has always worked. We know that. It makes you just feel better. And the music they play changes your mood in shops. But having staff sing, and is that the way to go, do you think?
I think it's different in in a fast food place. I definitely wouldn't want that if I was, in a department store shopping. I lived in America for 17 years in Los Angeles, and actually it did get a little bit nauseating because I didn't feel it was genuine. It was a little false and a bit contrived, like the smiley thing all the time. And, a lot of it, they're working for tips, so I understand they want to be pleasant and everything. So, but we just need to balance, just be normal, be polite, be happy. That's it. You don't need to kind of be overbearing with it or do the hard sell on any product you're looking for.
Well, I have to say I agree with what G.K. Chesterton said when he said music during dinner is an insult to the violinist and the chef. You can't have both. If you can't focus on both at the same time, it's sort of one's a distraction from the other. I think you have the music in the venue, you have your music and you focus on it and you have your food separately.
Yeah, I think dinner is a different
setting.
Does that mean in any kind of restaurant, Benjamin? Because we were at a restaurant last night with my family and they were playing some, it wasn't like a formal dinner, it was a sort of fairly casual dinner, but you can play music there, surely.
Well, look, this isn't a hill I'm going to die on. I think there's definitely a place for it in certain environments, certain restaurants, but I think it's not necessary, as it were, and I certainly think, when you get the sort of very, in your face, playing the guitar sort of interactive thing, sometimes, you just don't want it. You just want to go in and get your food.
I think it depends on the type of music and the type of venue that you're in.
Definitely.
It depends on the singer as well, doesn't it? I mean, if you've got a really good singer, I'd be very happy to watch them, Had George Michael have sat down on a piano and played, I'd literally put down my meal, I'd be very happy to watch, right? But there are other people you might be happy just to throw them out and say, please, I want to eat my food. Anyway, look, we'll talk more. Thank you for being uplifting, by the way. Benjamin, I hope this is not too much of a struggle for you tonight. Really, I genuinely, let's get you a pint of beer. That'll just mellow you out a bit. What do you fancy tonight? We'll get you something sorted out. Anyway, if you have just joined us, by the way, welcome along. Yeah, I'm not Mark Dolan. It's Neil Fox here on TV, and we're just trying to keep it positive and uplifting. Right, up next, the woman taking meal prepping to a whole new insane level. And of course, we'll be talking about the papers and the headlines at 10:30.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch.
You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh, my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Hey, welcome back to Mark Dolan. Yes, I've gone really grey and I've taken my glasses off. No, I'm Neil Fox, and welcome to your Friday night. OK, we've got our panel here, but first up, we're going to be looking at some more dog pictures. Firstly, a tribute to producer Tom, whose dog died recently, which is very sad. See, that's really sad now. That's his name was Wilf, Very lovely, Wilf. How old was Wilf? About 12 and a half. Right, there you go. Let's have some more. Thank you, by the way, for sending in pictures of your dog. It's not just random dog pictures. It's because it's International Dog Day. I thought I should explain. Next one is Bounce. Here we go. This is Bounce. Bounce looks... What's you going? Oh, honestly, really? He is sweet. Look at that face, though. I mean, that's a cute dog. Love Bounce. Right, next up, Millie the Yorkie, sent in by her owner, Alistair. Oh, stop the cute little face now. Stop it now, Millie. That's too cute. Stop it. Freddie the Cockapoo is 6 years old. Hello, Cockapoo. They almost look like they're stuffed animals. They're so cute, aren't they? They are so soft. Arlo, 16 months, Border Terrier, Cross Poodle. Blimey, there we are. That's cute. Look at that stance there. He's ready to go, isn't he? Lovely. I love these pictures. Bodger, this is our exec producer's dog. Hello, James in Spain. Hello, Bodger. Bodger looks cute. Also, Basil, the Jack Russell. Let's have a look at Basil. Look at those ears. Come on, they're cute. Just want to give that little chest a rub, don't you? Rudy, sent in by Vaughan. Hello, Rudy. How are you? Thanks, Vaughan. I hope you're having a good night tonight. And Alfie's owner, Janice, describes him as a spoilt brat. Is this Blue? Oh, this is Blue. Hello, Blue. How are you? Blue's a cute little one there. Sort of half dog, half cat sitting on the window ledge there, which is interesting. Yeah, and this Relax Pooch, which I believe is Leilani's dog.
You got that? Yeah, that's off my Instagram. I was going to Spain. Yeah. And he actually took stuff out of my suitcase. You see my knickers there and everything. He took stuff out of my suitcase and went and sat himself in there and fell asleep.
It's quite a big fella.
Yeah, it's a small suitcase, actually. I travel light. I travel very light. I heard about the luggage crisis, so...
Oh,
Little
nice.
one.
You know, I think it was your partner sent that in.
I don't know.
Yes. Dodgy pictures. God, what's next? Keep them coming in. We like it. OK. But you've got 2 dogs, haven't you?
I've got 2, yeah. The other one's a mix. He's a pug and beagle. The other one's a beagle and Boston Terrier. OK. If you have just joined us, model and broadcaster Leilani Dowding, our guest, TV personality and actress Ashlane Horgan-Wallace from another planet, and research fellow of Bow Group, Benjamin Loughnane, who probably thinks he's landed on another planet. To be fair. But there you go. A mum of 3 has taken meal prepping to a whole new level in order to save cash. America, you kind of thought this was going to be an American story. America's Kelsey Shaw started storing food from her 5-acre farm when the family moved to the States in 2017. She taught herself how to preserve everything. I mean, literally everything from pickles to a beef stew. And now she's got a staggering 426 meals prepared to feed her family for the next 8 months. Slightly crazy. But hey, don't knock it till you've tried it, right? With a soaring cost of food and other goods, could this be the way to go? So she clearly mass produces, makes it up, portions it, and then freezes it a lot. Right then, panel, what do you think? Look, we've just been hearing on the news the cost of living, energy, all these bills are going up. It could be quite a tough winter. And for some people, it's going to be a really, really tough winter for sure. So how do we save money? Is this a way to do it? How are you with food at home? Do you waste a lot of food or do you make a lot of food and freeze it like this lady? Do you know, I'm really impressed that she's grown all of that herself as well on her 5-acre farm, because I've got a small holding of 4 acres. My horses eat nearly all of the grass. I tried to grow some tomatoes this summer, and when I went to Spain, they all died. So I failed miserably, basically. So I wish I was good as her. And I think I have heard that making food in bulk definitely is a way of saving money. And if but then you need to have a big freezer to freeze it in, unless you learn to pickle. And I don't know how much pickled food you can have. So.
I'd worry about the freshness and the vitamin content and the minerals as well. If everything's being frozen, how much it would retain for health benefits. I think if you've got kids at lunch and dinner time, just send them round to their friends and they can eat at their house. That's one way of saving money.
I'll be honest, because the other parent might be saying the same.
Yeah, that's true. No, to be serious, I think that supermarkets are doing brilliant deals at the moment, and you really just have to shop around and find out your local supermarket's time for reduction, because different supermarkets do it at different times, but you can get really good fresh produce. You know, it says used by this date, but I mean, I use things a day after or what have you, and you're getting them for less than half price, literally for in the pence, with under £1, and you're getting good meals and healthy, substantial stuff. So look out for bargains like that. And then, as I say, I think a lot of supermarkets are taking on board the fact that people are struggling and doing things really cheap. There's like I don't want to name shops, but they do like a no brand, no frills type version. Sure. And it's the same product, it's just in unfancy packaging. So don't be a snob with like what you buy. Like, just buy the no frills, buy the non-name brand biscuits. They all taste just as good.
I mean, they say that the healthiest our nation ever was, weirdly, was sort of in that post-World War II, where we were still slightly on rationing, didn't have lots of meat, didn't have all the expensive stuff, didn't have lots of chocolate. So it was lots of veg, it was simple food. There was no fast food, really, apart from probably fish and chips, right? So, but also all you did, you had to make your own food. And walk places, you know. We have so much convenience now. It's so easy with Uber Eats, Deliveroo, everything else, just to think, oh, I'll just get on the phone or the app, and it's there. And actually, it's not the most healthy food. None of us really are going to be ordering like a nice vegetable salad, are we? Let's be honest. We're going to get some Mickey D's or get something late night, and it's all expensive. So we maybe need to cut down on certain things, but it's hard to do. Do we want to cut down?
No, I mean, I think that we sort of have to. It's not about wanting to. You have to just live with the times, and the times at the moment is that you have to cut down. I think as a single person living in a single household without having a big family to have to feed, going into supermarkets and having to buy these big, massive packs of tomatoes or just excessive stuff, it really does get wasted in my fridge. So now I've started to go to like local greengrocers and local shops where I can just buy the one tomato or the two tomatoes, and I think that's a good way of saving money as well. So you're not wasting. So my pet hate is wasting food, throwing food away. It's such a waste. So, yeah, try your local shops, because it's actually more cost-effective. It's false economy to buy big and then chuck it all away.
There was that dreadful stat I read, it was only last year, that it said, I think 25% of the food we tend to buy, we throw away. Exactly. 25%. I mean, it is obscene, actually. I mean, it's crazy financially, but it's obscene as well. When there are people that are going without food. It's crazy. Now, a few emails sort of came in, so this talking about some of the stuff we've talked about tonight. So James says, singing and talking helps plants as you're breathing on them, concentrates the CO2 around them, feeding the plant more efficiently. Right, OK. Rob says, there's an element of truth on the alien blood type. It's called rhesus negative, and scientists still to this day cannot track its origin. Loving the positive bants tonight. Nice. Thank you. Get some bants on, right? Mark said, there we are. Nice to see me. Thank you very much indeed, Mark. Appreciate that. Viv just says, thank you very much. Enjoying the show. Like the positive vibes. Susan says, I'm proud to say I got my degree in health and social care when I was 45 years old. Goes back to that 92-year-old getting his GCSE maths. Getting my cap and gown was the proudest moment in my life. Never too old to try something new. Joseph says, I work at McDonald's. We need more of this. Joseph, maybe you need to pick a song and get singing at work with your Mickey D's, OK? And Gordon from Glasgow, enjoying the show. Good, nice stuff. Thank you very much. Right then, let's have a look. It is 10:30 at the headlines. They've just come in. So we'll start with the I weekend. Here we go. Truss U-turn on energy handout, but 6 million will lose savings. So, interestingly, Liz Truss or Reese, one of them is going to be the PM, and we'll know soon. Benjamin, let's start with you on this one. I mean, this is sort of serious news. We've been having a light-hearted night tonight, but, of course, there are, outside of these 2 hours, serious issues that the country is facing at the moment. And this is not a great headline.
No, I mean, 6 million is a huge number. That's 1 in 10. That's quite a large chunk of the population who are going to struggle. And it's not just, it's going to cost more. You're wiping out your savings. That's, the whole save for a rainy day. Well, the rainy days come. It's you say goodbye to the money you've saved for whatever you wanted to spend it on. Nope, it's going on the energy bills. I think it's outrageous. I think that, and you look at the companies who are making a huge profit, they're reporting highest profits ever. I think it's really beholden on them, actually, to say, no, we're going to cut our profits this year, because at the end of the day, they can't afford to live.
Sure. I mean, that's what really gets up people's nose, let's be honest, isn't it? So we hear there are problems with energy, but when these energy companies start posting record profits, you kind of go, well, where are you getting it from? You're
exactly,
that, and our bills are going up all the time. I mean, someone needs to stop that. That's where government needs to step in, I would say.
Yeah.
Now, let's look through some other headlines. We'll blast through them, then we'll come back to them. Daily Express, Boris, pipeline of cash on the way to ease the bills pain. The Mirror says our whole country is facing an energy bills catastrophe. For heaven's sake, do something. Fear as the cap goes up 80%. I mean, it's one of those things, a cap's meant to be a cap, isn't it? It can't keep going up, for goodness sake. We'll come back to it if we could. Let's have a look. OK, The Guardian, here we go. Which one? The Guardian says, lives will be lost. I mean, this is a tragic headline. Typical gas and electricity bill to rise 80% to this is the average, to 3,549. You divide that by 12, and you're going to go, that's 300 quid a month. This is really crazy. Yeah. The Sun at the moment is saying gigs X, car gang terror, masked trio nick 80 grand's motor, Stacey sees thieves speed off. The Mail at the moment, a lovely picture, of course, of Mary Berry on the front, but as exports warn, rise in the bill cap next year could hit £6,600. I mean, I think it was 3,600 another paper. Now we're 6,600. Energy hikes may wipe out savings for 6 million people. This is really unbelievable. And then I've got the Daily Telegraph, which says middle class need energy bills help, says Zahawi. Hang on. Everybody needs energy bills help. The Times, energy bills hit £3,500 with the worst yet to come. I mean, this is not a great headline. It must be a scary day. We're living in, we've got lovely weather at the moment, of course, so we've been, boiling this summer, but then all of a sudden, as we move into winter, this is really going to hurt. And, of course, for a bit of light-hearted entertainment, thank you, the Daily Star, rock exclusive, pardon the pun, Ozzy, I'm haunted by spirits. Yeah, not those kind of spirits. Ozzy Osbourne says that his mansion is haunted by ghostly figures and it has absolutely nothing to do with his boozy rock and roll past. Right, let's have a look at the Mirror's front page, and I think we'll go with that. So, obviously, at the beginning of the show, we did say, let's try and have 2 hours of positive, uplifting news, no doom and gloom. I think we've done pretty well for 90 minutes so far, but let's get real for a minute while our panel's here, because this is, post 11 o'clock, this is the world that we're living in, this is the country we're living in. Our whole country is facing an energy bills catastrophe. Strong words. For heaven's sake, do something. The message to the leaders. So, Leilani.
So I think they do have to step in, but I don't think the right thing to do is do this tax that then they're going to take the when they. I can't remember what it's called now, when they do this tax on the bigger profits, the windfall tax.
Oh, the windfall tax on the energy tax. I'm sorry.
I forgot that. So, I don't think they should do that, because then you're putting it into the government's pockets, who have shown that they can't spend the tax money that we give them correctly. So what I think they should do, instead of taking the money from the windfall taxes and handing it back, they need to step in and try and manage something with price caps, because it should never be going out of our pockets in the first place to get it back. So they need to stop it, especially, like you said, when the gas companies are reporting record profits. Something needs to go back to the consumer before, not just keep this whole take thing.
Sure.
And then, no one wants a handout, really. We just want the prices to be lower.
Well, I think if the prices can be lower, and you kind of go, well, if the energy companies are making record profits, then surely they're clearly putting the prices up too high. Then they need to be somehow, and this is of course the hard thing to do, in the kind of economy we have, do they need to be told, OK, you cannot increase your prices? But, with millions of people, normal people working hard, struggling, when people are going to say, can we heat or can we eat? And it will get to that. You go, in this day and age, in this country, That is obscene.
And especially for the older generation, you know, my nan and granddad get extremely cold during the winter, and to think of them not being able to put the heating on and suffering, it's just heartbreaking. And they're lucky they've got a strong family around them and we can sort of all chip in and help out. But what about older people that haven't got any family? How are they supposed to survive? And I'm with you, Neil. I think that the government need to pull up their socks and almost go in sort of bully boy tactics with these greedy, horrible swines. I could think of a ruder word that I'd like to call them, and say, look, no, this isn't on. It needs to stop, and it has to stop now.
Well,
That's
look,
it.
I know that a lot of these big companies, as we move towards green, you know, have to invest, I mean, literally, you know, billions and trillions into wind farms and solar and everything else. So the investment in that infrastructure is enormous, and they would say they need the money, but maybe they don't need to do it.
Well,
now.
this is it.
Maybe
I think,
we need to wait, because we need to get...
Or do it over a longer period of time, so less of a massive jump up, and you know, we can't afford it. So it's impossible. Why are you doing it now like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, they need to like cut these net zero goals that they've got coming in so fast. They really do, because we need to. We just can't afford it, and we've got to make sure that the people, like the most vulnerable, can afford to, you know, get their heating. So maybe stop all the investment into the net zero nonsense.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, look, you know, although I think we all want to live in a greener world, we know we need to slow down and find different ways. Right now, I mean, ultimately, you do not want normal people dying in their homes because they literally have no heating. I mean, it's weird to think that we're actually sort of talking about that, but that seems to be where potentially this is heading. I think who can sort it out, Benjamin?
Well, I think there's some people who are real radicals to the net zero agenda, and they're happy to let people die in the name of the net zero agenda because they really do buy into this climate alarmist, you know, narrative. And they think, well, people will die from climate change anyway, so let them die. And I think that's, you know, completely a soulless approach. I think the government should actually review the net zero agenda in light of the current situation and say, OK, maybe we need to at least pause it for a while for the winter so that people can heat their homes. And the investment, you know, that money that the energy companies are being forced to invest heavily into this renewable sort of stuff can go towards actually reducing people's bills so that people can get through the winter alive. But I don't think that, you know, the current two candidates, Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, I don't think either of them have the guts really to do anything about this.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, what a job for someone to have to take on. I mean, who would want to be Prime Minister at the best of times? The amount of flack in many respects they get. It's a really tough job. And sometimes, you know, whoever's in power seems to get little respect now from the press and the media. And it must be just a nightmare sometimes doing that job. If you think what Boris got handed in a way when you think you had, Brexit, then you have COVID.
You can't do right for doing wrong, can you, in that position? It's a nightmare.
And now someone's got to take on this energy problem as well. So, I mean, are either of these two leaders charismatic enough, strong enough, ballsy enough? I mean, we were talking about space earlier on, and President Kennedy, I remember, sort of stood on the, you know, that space centre, and he made that amazing speech about, you know, we go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it's hard. But, you know, there was a time when leaders were inspirational and were ballsy in a way. And
we need Margaret
someone
Thatcher
to do that now.
we need Margaret Thatcher back. Honestly, I think she'd have the balls to go in there and tell them what for.
Well, Rishi Sunak, I don't think he can stand up. He's shown already he wasn't able to stand up for what he says he believed in over lockdowns. He admitted it yesterday. He said he thought he was the only one that, that, you know, didn't agree with lockdowns. Well, he never said it.
Convenient now, isn't it?
He said it now. What, when the public opinions change, so maybe...
He had 2 years to resign and he didn't do it at any point. And now that it's convenient, he's suddenly anti-lockdown.
Yeah, and he resigned over two men at a party. He didn't resign over, you know, this whole thing about lockdown. So can he go in and say that, or is he going to wait? If he, you know, if he got in, would he wait and then in 2 years' time say, oh, you know what, I believed we should have scrapped the net.
I don't think he needs to worry about his electricity bills, so I don't think he's got as much passion for it as the normal Joe Bloggs.
Well, we're not going to solve the problem tonight, but we had to talk about it this evening. If I can find a positive headline actually somewhere here. Here's a nice one. Fertility. Radical new treatments are on the horizon. There's the prospect of lab-grown eggs, and genome editing prompts the HFEA to consider the biggest overhaul of fertility laws in 30 years that might allow same-sex couples to actually sort of have natural babies and what have you. I mean, their own biological children. I mean, it could be absolutely incredible. Wow. But are we messing with science too much? That's what some people would say.
Yeah, I do think the ethical thing is very important. It's, you know, the whole thing of in science, people care so much about progress and doing new things. They never stop to think about, you know, whether it's ethical or what the cost of it is. And you see with a lot of fertility treatments, you find that when you have these artificial things, a lot of those eggs that are fertilised end up dying before they can grow. And so you have the question of, you know, how many fertilised eggs dying before you get one that actually works is justifiable in the name of this. So, you know, I think it's worth bearing in mind. And, you know, we progress so quickly that we don't really stop to think, actually, is this right?
Yeah. Ashley, what do you think?
I've struggled with fertility, so I am totally here for any new venture that they want to do and help people conceive children. And, you know, I have a lot of gay friends that would absolutely love to be parents, and why not give them an opportunity if science is ready to go that step further? I'm here for it. Especially in my own personal case, I would love to have, you know, some help along that way. So
I mean, all those years ago, IVF transformed people's lives.
Exactly. Completely. So I just think that you know, we're moving with the times, and this was bound to happen, really.
Yeah, I'm just worried about like the genome editing and playing God a little bit too much. Like, how long until, you know, babies start getting grown in labs and, like, literally grown in labs and artificial wombs and all of that? It's becoming a bit matrixy to me. I'm just not...
Well, they're already growing meat, aren't they? Sort of artificial, but sort of real meat, which is slightly odd, isn't it? You know, apparently it tastes the same, but that just feels weird.
Very weird.
Doesn't it? But I mean, if that feels weird, this is another whole level of weird, isn't it? Really, potentially growing babies like that. But
not even from fertilisation or, it's just, it's.
But if you were a couple and you really wanted a child, you know, then you'd do anything, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I suppose.
That really is. Now, another one, if we look at the Express says a good night's sleep could prevent heart disease and strokes, as a matter of fact. Are you good sleepers? Good sleep?
I'm awful. I have to take melatonin to sleep. My mind switches on as I get into bed. It's off all day, don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, can't hold a conversation. I think it's the alien blood, not sure. As soon as I get into bed, I can solve world hunger. I know all the answers to the electricity problems, everything. So I take melatonin to go to sleep because I'm an awful sleeper.
Yeah.
OK.
I'm not really sure it's news. Good night's sleep prevents heart disease and strokes. I mean, you know, sleep is so good. No, what I mean is it shouldn't be new to us, this idea. Yeah. Sleep is so good for you. It's the most important thing. If you don't sleep, everything else about you will struggle and suffer. It's the most crucial thing you can do for your health, I think, is sleep and probably drinking water and eating, you know, those basic things. But sleep is so important. If you stay up too long, you start to go a bit mad, don't you?
I think people, with the world that we live in, everything's just so, like, everything's quick. And I think people are applying that to their sleeping habits as well. You know, they've got to have 4 hours sleep, get up and conquer the world. So I think it's important to be reminded that it's very important.
And of course, and one of the hardest things now, I mean, God, I've got 3 kids, and you kind of know, they've got their phones by them.
Exactly.
You know, and the problem is, of course, if we're on our screens, late night, check, you know, that whole fear of missing out or a bit of FOMO, what's going on, that does not help anyone sleep, let's be honest. It just gets you all hyped up again.
Exactly.
I'm like a little old granny, though. I'm, like, working hard during the day, up early, and then, like, 10 o'clock, put my head on the pillow, and if I close my eyes,
I'm so jealous.
Lucky.
So jealous.
It's so important, though. I think rest is just so underrated. It's really, it's one of those things that really, you know...
Well, make sure next time you're on, slippers, chocolate, just to help you settle down before the end of the show, because I know probably up past your bedtime. Right, more to come after the break. We have a GB game show that literally is out of this world, and why Keanu Reeves has been helping people get married. Yeah, we'll explain all in just a moment.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch.
You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh, my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
My name is Andrew Doyle. Join me every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. for Free Speech Nation. This is a show where we address current affairs and news stories of the week with the help of two wonderful comedian panellists. I brought in comics because I want to give it a lighter edge, and also they work for less. See you there.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Right, welcome back to Mark Dolan. I'm Neil Fox, and I hope you're having a very nice Friday night. Just checking some emails, and thank you for being really good on the emails tonight. All kinds of subjects, panel, I have to be honest. From Adrian, sorry, please look at Europe. The Dutch are facing bills of €900. The French are trying to buy gas from Norway as their reactors are going offline. The Germans are running low on gas. Energy is a worldwide market, and if you will only pay 50p and the Germans will pay 60p, they will get it. P.S. Where was the government money when BP had to pay $24 billion for Deepwater Horizon? Right, let's have a look here then. More emails coming in. Thank you, GB News. We love you. It's so entertaining. We hardly watch anything else on TV. It'd be great, though, if you could provide us with some really good and happy stories occasionally, as we are struggling with all the negativity, says Sue G. Hey, Sue, we're trying our best, all right, tonight. Dear Mr. Fox, I'm fed up blaming energy companies getting the blame for making a pound. Why not highlight the $2 billion we're giving out, keeping the illegal boat people set up in warm four-star hotels? Free money, free phone, free NHS. Stop avoiding the elephant in the room, says Bob. Thank you, Bob. Dr. Fox, I think you're missing the most obvious... We've really moved around tonight, by the way, so from that story to this. Dr. Fox, I think you're missing the most obvious song tonight in your People's playlist. Mixing your two themes, International Dog Day and Space. It's got to be the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band singing The Urban Spaceman. Oh, thank you. Tom, completely forgot about that one. And the younger members of our panel looking at me thinking, what the hell are you talking about? OK, it was a song long time ago. OK, Joseph, meal prepping is a great idea. Always useful if the shops run dry. Right, there you go. Thank you. I've had so many emails and pictures about dogs. People got dog. We are a nation of dog lovers, aren't we? I mean, look, Ashley's just been showing me her dogs. Here are my two. They're so lovely. Are you missing them already?
Honestly, if I go anywhere.
Do you snuggle up with them when you get home?
Oh, yeah, I cannot wait.
Right.
No.
OK. Hello, Indy. Let's have a look at Indy, the dog. Ready for the R. Cute R. Oh, Indy looks like Indy's just been in the river or doing something naughty and fun. Like it, Indy. Thank you. Here's Mark. This is Kobe. Kobe is a rescue dog. Mark's had him for 5 years. He's... Oh, hang on, sorry. Sorry, there we are. Oh, sorry, this is Indy. Is this Indy? Sorry, someone's talking in my ear here. Hello, Indy. No, this is Kobe. So, sorry, man in my ear, you're going mad. All right, get another beer. Right, I want one of the beers that dog's got. Right, this is Mark's dog, Kobe, a rescue dog. He's had him for 5 years. Look at him, what a lovely dog. They're so nice. So many lovely dogs in rescue homes. You don't need all the designer dogs. Just go and look after some of these lovely things. Let's have a look at Pepe, the dog. Pepe? Hello, Pepe. Standing somewhere rather interesting. Where's that now? I'm trying to look at the background of that one. Yeah, Stuart's dog, 18-month puppy Luna, starting her radio career. Wow, which studios are those in? So, I'm looking very anorak-like. What kind of faders are those? I'll stop doing that. Okay. Dog looks very good. No headphones, though. Badger. Let's have a look at Badger. Badger. Cute, aren't they? They just look... When you come home after a long day, you know, however bad your day's been, when you walk in and that dog runs up to you, we're all dog lovers, it just makes you feel good, doesn't it? Suddenly all that stress goes away. And here is Dot from Twickenham.
Oh.
Hello, Dot. Nice. OK, thank you for sending in your pictures tonight. It's been really appreciated. Thank you for taking the trouble. OK, Matrix star Keanu Reeves is already known for being one of the nicest, most down-to-earth people in Hollywood. He rides everywhere on his motorbike. He goes on the subway in New York and chats with people. He seems to be a very normal guy. And he just seems to keep getting nicer because he made a couple's wedding by crashing their wedding out of the blue. He crossed paths while staying at the same hotel and asked to join in the celebrations. They didn't ask him. He asked, can I join in your celebrations? They obviously obliged. I mean, who wouldn't? What a lovely guy. I mean, just very, very... I've seen him interviewed. I've never met Keanu Reeves. I'd like to. He seems a very down-to-earth, decent fella, got to be honest, who understands, got the balance of life just right. Not like many people, I think, in that entertainment business, certainly at that level. Here's a big question for you. Who would you like to crash your wedding and why? I'm going to start this one off by going, if I went to a wedding, if I was at a wedding, I've been married now nearly 24 years now, but I'd probably go for Michael Bublé for me.
Oh, OK.
Only Bublé because he's funny. I've done many interviews with him. He's funny. Obviously, he's got an unbelievable voice. He actually got his big break singing at someone's wedding and someone from the record company saw him. But I just think he'd be an entertaining guy to have at a wedding or anyone's wedding. Leilani?
Do you know what? I think it would be GB News' own Neil Oliver because my fiancé absolutely loves me. He's always watched his documentaries, post and whatever, and listens to his podcast. But he wouldn't listen to me for the last couple of years about, you know, the lockdowns and COVID. He didn't want to hear me talk about it. So I'd send him Neil's monologues. And then he'd listen, and then I'd hear him speaking to his friends, repeating what Neil said, and I was, like, having a little cheer in the background, like, yes, he's repeating exactly what I'm saying, but it's come from Neil. Yeah.
For me, it would be Adele, just because, I mean, she's a pretty good singer. I don't know if you've heard of her. Yeah, I used to sort of party with her a little bit back in the days, so we could reminisce about that, and she's just salt of the earth, funny, really nice girl, and yeah, that's who I'd choose to gate crash my wedding.
Just saying, it would be really good if you did have a friend who was very famous like that. You could invite along because you don't need to book anyone then, do you? Because you go, oh, could you just do a song? Get up for one, and then everyone cheers. They'll do another. Give them some more champagne. They'll do another. You know, it'd be a great fun night, wouldn't it? That'd be good. Benjamin?
I don't think I'd want anyone crashing my wedding because can you imagine that, the stress on the day, that you've got everything to look after and suddenly someone turns up and you think, now I've got to, you know, host this new, celebrity or something. And it also would take the focus off you. Everyone would be, you know, oh, look at this celebrity who's here. So, hang on, it's my day. It's all about me. It's all about them.
Well, thanks for killing the moment.
Yeah. Well, look, I have to be the contrarian. I have to be the contrarian.
Hypothetically, who would you think would be a great guest? Who would you really love, maybe as a celeb?
I said Tyson Fury. He'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
And anyone gets out of order.
Yeah.
Tyson.
Deal with them. OK, fair enough. Yeah. I was just thinking, can I say, much as I really do like Neil Oliver, but you're at a wedding on that fun, feel-good, happy occasion, really. Yeah. Do you think so? I mean, come on.
You don't know my fiancé.
When's the wedding, by the way? Or is this...
No, it's a lot. Do you know what? I don't wear my engagement ring because of the crime in London. That's why I don't. So it's nothing to do with it not being on. But we're just having a long engagement.
How long's it been?
We've been engaged. We've been together 5 years, engaged for 2. But we hadn't bought this small holding first. So he's shown me his commitment, definitely. So, yeah.
All right. Well, look, we're going to play a game show. OK, someone's going to get me the answers because I left them on my desk over there. But anyway, someone will come running over in a minute. Move over, Neil Armstrong. There are going to be new space experts in town following NASA's Artemis 1 launch to the moon, which goes on Monday. My panel is going to play a game that is literally out of this world. I'm going to test their space knowledge with these rigorous space questions. Now, can I just say, I am a space anorak, and I got stuck at about number 3. So I do wish you the absolute best of luck. OK. Let's start easy, shall we? You're all looking at the screen trying to see what the answers are. They're not on there, right? Who was the first man on the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
Is the correct answer. OK, I think we all knew that one, right? OK. Who was the second man on the moon?
Buzz Aldrin.
OK, good. What were his first words Not the first words, the famous words.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Nice. People often say, was it one small step for a man?
Okay.
Or was it for man? But it's one of the most famous
Probably
expressions
a
of all
man,
time.
actually, would make more sense.
I read he was trying to say one small step for a man, but it came out as man and it felt almost bigger and grander.
Yeah.
OK, here we go. What is the hottest planet in the solar system?
The sun.
Planet.
No, that's our star.
Is it Saturn?
Whoops.
Okay. Is it Saturn?
Saturn is wrong. Leilani?
Mercury?
No, it's Venus. OK,
right.
it's the nearest one to the sun. What does NASA stand for?
National American Space Association.
Agency.
No, National Aeronautical Space Agency. Right, OK. Which country launched the first successful space flight?
Russia, Soviet Union.
Yep, with Sputnik. What was the first satellite up
USSR
there?
back then.
And then Yuri Gagarin. OK, what is the moon made out of?
Cheese.
Thank you, Wallace and Gromit, for that one. Thank you very much indeed.
Rocks, I don't know.
All right, well, look, we're out of time, panel. Thank you very much indeed. I tell you, we didn't quite get through all our questions, but you did pretty well, I have to say. OK, thank you so much for watching tonight. It's been really good fun. We'll do it again. Headliners is up next. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alex Deacon with your latest weather update. The weekend, 3-day one for many of us. Promises largely dry and fine weather with sunny spells across much of the UK and feeling quite warm, certainly on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. A bit of a chilly one tonight, however. We do have this weather front draped across the west. It's fizzling out through this evening, but it's still providing 1 or 2 heavy showers here and there at the moment. But those showers are fading as that weather front dies away. For most, it's going to be dry and with clear skies across western Scotland, Northern Ireland. It's only quite chilly here. Temperatures dropping down into single figures. Further east, again, mostly a fine night. Could be a bit misty with 1 or 2 fog patches over East Anglia in the southeast. Temperatures holding up here in the teens. On to Saturday's detail, and it's not completely dry. There will still be a few showers, mostly scattered across northern parts of England, but 1 or 2 over the Midlands and perhaps even across southern England also. But for most places, you're not going to see those showers. It's going to stay dry and fine with sunny spells. It will cloud over in the northwest later on. Temperature-wise, a little higher perhaps than Friday's temperatures. High teens across much of Scotland, elsewhere into the 20s, the mid-20s in the south. Still the odd shower here and there through the evening, but most places dry. We will see a bit more of that rain just pushing into the Highlands and the Western Isles during Saturday evening. Elsewhere, it's going to be a dry and a clear night. Again, a bit of mist and fog is possible on Sunday. And Sunday is again, for most of us, a dry, bright day with decent spells of sunshine. Starting quite grey in the northwest. Patchy rain here tending to fizzle out. And again, 1 or 2 showers are possible, most likely over parts of northeast England. But most dry. Temperatures a little higher, 20 Celsius widely into the mid-20s across much of South Wales, the Midlands and southern England as well. Monday also set fair by and large, a little cooler in the east. And one thing, the winds will be picking up, especially along the south coast of England come Monday.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch.
You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness me. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join